Can you put a cot in an SUV and sleep on it? And should you? Those are two questions I've had for a couple of years now, and I finally got around to testing it out. Let's talk about it. I bought this cot a few weeks ago off of Amazon. It's by a company called Marchway that I'm not affiliated with at all. I bought this because it got really good reviews. As of recording this video, it had 4.6 stars with like 2,600 reviews. So really well rated cot. And it cost me $70. It's fairly small, fairly compact, as you can see. And I'll put the dimensions of it on the screen. It weighs about 5 pounds and is only about 6.5 inches high when it's set up. And that's important because we don't want a cot that's, 1.5 feet off the ground, because that's gonna, make getting in and out of it and getting onto it pretty ridiculous in the RAV4. You'd have, a foot of headroom, and that's just not really practical. And so when I was looking at cots, I wanted something that was short, that was compact, and that was relatively lightweight. And I ended up with this, and I've been really happy with it so far. Before you buy or set up a cot, you want to make sure that it's actually a feasible thing in your SUV. So this is my 2011 Toyota RAV4. The rear seats fold down to be fairly flat. There is a little bit of an incline here. It does go up a little bit that way, but overall it's a fairly flat, decently flat surface. But in a lot of SUVs, when you do fold down the rear seats, there is going to be a gap between the top of the rear seat here and the back of the front seat here. You can see this gap here. In this car right now, it's about 8 inches, but when I sleep in here, I do need to push the front seat all the way forward, and so when I do that, it's an even bigger gap. And so you need something to bridge that gap or fill in that gap. You can just put stuff here, like a plastic bin might fit, or bedding might fit in here. What I've done is I have I think it's about a 2 foot by 2 foot piece of plywood, and in each corner it's supported by paracord. And then that paracord goes up and over the headrest, and it creates a nice solid platform. If your rear seats fold down to be at a more severe angle, or if you have big bumps here, then a cot might not work. You might need to build a more custom platform. But in our situation, in our case, a cot can work decently well. So let's put up the cot. Let me show you how it all goes together. So basically this cot consists of just a couple different parts. There are 5 legs, 2 side rails, and then the fabric part. Let's throw the stuff sack aside and let's put the side rails together first. All of these parts go together basically like tent poles. We've got one side rail there, one side rail here, and then we unfold or unfurl the fabric here, and then there's basically a tube in the fabric on each side, and you just put the pole through the tube. And then you flip it over once you've done that. And there are 5 of these legs. They also kind of snap together. And let me show you how this is done. You insert one end there, insert, whoa, the wind, something we have to contend with here. Then you just kind of press down and insert the other end on the other side. Super easy to set up when it's not windy. I'm not going to speed this up. I'm going to do it in real time so you can see how long it takes or how fast it is. And I don't care if you buy this cot in particular. Like I said, I have no skin in this game. I will put a link to it down below, but a lot of the cots on Amazon that are like this are a similar sort of style as far as putting it together. All right, and there you have it. Nice little cot. And it is it is comfortable. It's actually quite comfortable. And it sags a little bit, so it's almost like a hammock. I mean, it's not quite as dramatic as a hammock, but it does kind of stretch a little bit, the material in it. It does feel good. I think the weight rating on this thing is 275 pounds. And it does also have this little pocket off the side, so you can take your phone, put it in there, put, you know, your an extra battery in there, or your, I don't know, your glasses or whatever you want. So now let's see if this fits into the back of the RAV4. Spoiler, it doesn't really. So if I just put this in, just kind of lightly try to put it in, it doesn't fit perfectly, but what we can do, first of all, is move the front seat forward. That'll give us a little bit more length. And then just kind of push it down. Make sure, in my case, that the fridge, which is right here, isn't in the way. And then just kind of fit it in here. Oh, in my case right here, it's getting caught on the pillow that I have next to it. Okay, so here we have our mostly level. Let's see, looks like it's still a little bit higher on the right side. There we go. So now it's usable, right? As far as the sleeping standpoint goes, but it's a little bit too long. So if I close it, I think it should be okay if I close it. But again, right now I have the front seat forward, which is how I would have it when I'm camping, when I'm sleeping, but not when I'm driving. And so I found that what I needed to do is shorten it a little bit. And you saw how the side poles go together like tent poles. I found that if I kind of disconnected the end poles here, it was still good enough. So let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. And so I also needed to remove one pair of legs, the back set of legs, and then kind of disconnect the legs like that. And so this way, if I move the seat back to where I normally have it when I'm driving, I can still close it. There's plenty of room right here. And you can just sleep on a cot like this without any kind of mattress or anything like that. I think that if you were camping in hotter, more humid areas, this would be great. You'd have a lot of nice airflow underneath you. But I camp in the west, usually at higher elevations, and it does still get cold at night. And so on my recent trip, so I recently took this on a 3-day trip, this setup, and used it, and it worked out great. So let me roll out my camp mattress here. I do not remember what brand this camp mattress is, but it's awesome. It's foam. Oh, Wilpo, it looks like. Again, not associated with them, not a sponsor, but I have one of these in the RAV4, 2 in the Land Cruiser, then I have a wider one that can fit Cassie's Toyota Highlander. These are awesome, awesome camp mattresses. And so this is basically how I slept on the cot on that trip. I didn't even bother trying to like put something here to prop up the bottom end of the mattress, although you certainly could, you know, you could put a pillow or some clothes down there. But for me, I found that it was fine to just be like that, and I could still close the doors just fine. So let me show you now what it's like to actually use in practice. So the front seat is moved all the way forward. And here we are. So I'm 5'11". The RAV4 still has, you know, about an inch or two above my head, and I could also move the seat, you know, tilt the seat forward a little bit to get another inch or two. So this is me laying down. You can see there's the storage space, potential storage space underneath the cot. But when you are on the cot, like I said, it does dip down a little bit. And so that will eat into your storage space a little bit. So even though this is 6.5 inches high, if you have, for example, a hard-sided plastic bin that's 6.5 inches high, you would hit that. If it were underneath here and you put your body on it, you would feel that underneath you. So you might want to go a little bit shorter or use bags, use soft luggage to organize things underneath your cot. And I don't know if you can really tell in the video, but it is tilting up, and that's because, like I said, the rear seat here does tilt a little bit. It's not completely flat, but it feels more noticeable on the cot. And so if you wanted to, you could prop up the legs at the bottom a little bit, stick something underneath those legs at the foot of the cot. But overall, I used it for, again, a couple nights, and it was fine. It was actually super, super comfortable. The combination of this nice kind of giving cot surface, it's not a rigid surface, it gives a little bit. The combination of that and the 2 inches of foam, it was comfy. And here's me sitting almost completely straight. My neck is turned a little bit, but I'm almost sitting up straight with the camera angled a little bit better so you can see a little bit higher. And then here's me kind of leaning over. There's enough headroom for me. If you're much taller than me, or if you need to be able to sit up completely, then this probably isn't your best option. Just put the mattress directly on top of the seats back here. That's what I normally do, and I have plenty of headroom. But if you do need the extra storage, then a cot, I think, is a pretty good option. So, is it worth it? Is it a good idea to put a cot in the back of your SUV and sleep on it? I think that it can be. First, let me just say that if you don't need it, you're probably better off without it, just so that you have more headroom. But if you need that extra storage space, if you need that 6 inches to put stuff underneath, or if you just want the convenience of being able to put the stuff under there, then I think it's a good option for you. If the back of your SUV, if your sleeping area is pretty irregular, like for example, if you've taken out seats and there are pieces of metal sticking up, or if the headrests fold down to have a weird shape to them, having that 6 inches of clearance can just help you smooth out your sleeping area, and a cot is a much easier option than building a platform back there, which is what a lot of people do. It's also not nearly as permanent as a platform. I mean, there are sleeping platforms you can build that you can put in and take out that are removable, but it's so much easier to just have a cot. That said, on my future adventures, for me, I'm not going to be using a cot. I just don't think it's necessary. That 2-inch thick foam mattress fits there perfectly without the cot, and I don't really need the extra storage space. I have plenty of storage space in here. I've got the cargo box on top of the car. I'm not hurting when it comes to places to put things. But I do like the cot. It is comfortable. Again, if you are sleeping in areas that are a little bit hotter and more muggy, a cot can have good airflow. So there are some reasons for the cot, but I think that by default, you should try to figure it out in your SUV without a cot. I think that if you need a cot or a platform or something like that, you'll know, and then you can investigate something like this. So that's it. Let me know what you guys think. Again, I'll put a link to this particular cot in the description down below. It does come in several different colors. I bought the gray one. I liked it, but it does come in some more colorful colors if that's what you're more interested in. And I do have other plans for this cot. There are a couple of other things that I do want to use the cot for, and we'll cover those maybe in future videos. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you've used a cot in your SUV and what the experience was like, or in a minivan too. I know people do use cots in their minivan camper setups. That could be pretty good. I think in that case, you do have more headroom, so you might want a slightly higher cot just to make better use out of the storage space underneath there. But anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.